FlossTube, it's Jen, also known as Quirks and Stitches. I wanted to check in and just update you a little bit about what's been going on in my world this past week, show you some more of my Stitch Madness starts, get a little catch up on 24 hours of cross stitch, but I'm really not going to dive into that now. I'm thinking I'm going to just film a short blurb about what's been going on. Suffice it to say, I've been astounded at the response. There are a ton of people that have decided they're going to join us on take 2 of 24 Hours of Cross Stitch. We will be trying it again on April 5th into April 6th, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Some point, we are planning this to be like a reoccurring thing. So at some point we will figure out all the kinks and time changes and everything like that. But we're going to stick with pretty much the same time format that we did last time. And we're inviting everybody to stitch with us. So stitch for an hour, stitch for 12 hours, stitch for 24, whatever you want to try to do during that time frame. We would love to have you stitch with us. You do not have to start new projects. You do not have to, it's what you want to make it. So if you want to work on one piece for the entire 24 hours, which is what I think my mom's going to be doing. I think she's starting a piece and going with it for the full 24. Do that. If you want to do a whip rotation, I think that's what I'm going to be doing. My plan right now is to start one new piece. I have a clock related piece. I'll show you guys what it is. It's a Kathy Barrick. I don't have it out today, but hopefully I'll get it around somewhere. I had to reorganize, see over there, all of my bins because now that we've gone hog wild on the project bags, they don't fit in my other baskets. They don't really fit in these, right? But they fit better in those. And I was looking for a cost-effective way to kind of store them. Not knowing our permanent house, I didn't want to invest in like a whole craft storage system. So I was like, let's go to Big Lots and let's get something that's like $6 a basket. And then they were all sold out. So I had to go to like 10 Big Lots. But thankfully I live in Big Lots country now, so it was all okay. Back to 24 hours. I'm going to be starting one new piece, and I think I'm going to follow the same thing I did last time with a different project every hour. I'll be streaming 24, or not streaming, but we'll be watching 24, and I'm going to switch every hour. So I'll stitch for about 45 minutes and then film a recap and do all that. I don't think the second round will probably be as funny for you guys, but we'll see. Hoping to get some live chat involved and whatnot. There is a Facebook group now, so if you want to go on, I will post the link below, just to kind of try, I know that I want to keep a list of everybody that's participating, but right now it's going around on Instagram. I've got people commenting here, I've got people emailing me, and I've got people on a Facebook group. So I'm really trying to keep up. That would be one thing I would maybe change for the next time, is have like one specific event sign up. But we are offering a $24 gift certificate to 123 Stitch. I have heard from, I hope this is public knowledge, Linda Jo over at Prairie Southern is going to be donating a bag as a gift for somebody that participates as well. And my mom and my wheels thematically are turning, so I'm sure there might be some more involved because 24 themes, stitching, we can go all over the place with it. So I encourage you to let us know that you're doing this with us. The Facebook group probably is the best way. There's an event in there, but as long as I've kind of acknowledged that you've contacted me, I've got you down. So if I haven't, bug me. The other thing is, I'm like, I don't know if I've got people multiple times because people go by different screen names, and it's hard to be like, okay, they're this on YouTube, but they're that on Instagram, and then there's their real life name in Facebook. It's a little confusing, and I apologize because I'm not good with real life names. Like I fixate on a screen name, and then that's the thing I remember. So it's not that I don't remember people, it's just I don't make that connection 100%. So I'm trying to get better with that. I'm trying to associate real life names with people. Everybody latched on to Jen Lee. Thanks. So that's kind of what's been going on. We're really excited about it. we again were astounded by how many people were like, let's do this with you. We at first it was like, okay, I'll do for 4 hours. There were a lot of like 8-hour commitments, but we've gotten a bunch of people that have been like, yes, I want to try for the full 24 and gonna stitch and stitch and stitch. So we love that. We really, really, really just want to encourage stitching. We love this community. We love what it is, has been to us. So we want to encourage as many people to be a part of it as we can. That's it. So 24 hours coming soon. Join us if you have questions. Shoot me an email, message somewhere. I'll be honest, I don't check my Gmail that often. It's not my main email. So if I'm slow to reply, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get better. I'm a Mac girl. I use my iCloud email for everything. So the Gmail like web interface is just clunky to me. And so sorry, faithful Gmail users. So it's been a busy week. I've been doing a lot of stitching, a lot of really big starts this week for me for Stitch Madness. Also, I think I mentioned last week, Pandemonium has not been doing great. We've been calling her Zombie Cat this week because all of a sudden she had like this white in her eye, and I realized, I did some Googling and realized it was her third eyelid. And I'm like, it's really gross to look at. And it used to happen like when she would wake up. But now, sorry, people that aren't cat people, I'm going to take a minute and talk about my cat. But now it's like kind of all the time. So a couple weeks ago, the vet gave me some antibiotics for her, and that was great. And she perked up, so her personality is totally back, and she's eating and she's doing everything. She just looks like zombie cat right now. So we took her to the vet this morning, actually. I was a little nervous. It's always a little nerve-wracking going to the vet with an elderly animal. Mayhem is running rampant right now. She is a little bit spastic today. She's escaped upstairs several times. She's been yelled at by Brandon too, so she's having her little moment. But took her to the vet this morning, and I was a little nervous. Elderly cat, just, is this going to be the end? I don't know. Like, I don't want her suffering, but her personality's back, but she looks like a zombie. We're going to try some more antibiotics, see what that does. Apparently she gets sauna treatments and just gets to be in the bathroom while we shower so that, the steam will hopefully open up. I don't know. We'll see. But it's been a little bit nerve-wracking with her. Just because she's my baby and I'm not sure why she's trusted me to be her person. I'm highly allergic to her and I can't really touch her, but I'm her person. She's my cat. So I'm going to take a quick sip of coffee, but I'm not going to drink it all filming, I promise. Shelby got me this mug if she's watching. I miss you. So, what else has been going on in my world this week? Project bag mayhem. Mania. I shouldn't call it one of the animals in my house. My mother has perfected this project bag. She is making these, they're awesome. Like, they're so good. This last one, I just pulled a couple to show because I'm not going to go through them all. This last one was supposed to be for Brandon because it's Star Wars, but I stole it because I love it, and it's porgs. And the inside, I feel like it looks like sand, so I feel like it's kind of appropriate. I don't even know if porgs live in the sand, but there was sand in Star Wars. Look at that. Brandon's making noise, so he might be correcting me in the other room, but yeah, so we've really kind of got the knack down, got some heavier vinyl for the inside, so I think it's like keeping its structure a little bit. So there's been, can't even tell you how many countless project bags that have been made. Today I ironed and pieced together all the other ones that we had cut, and I have moved on to cutting. So now I am actually cutting pieces of fabric and trying to square them up and get them straight, and I don't think I've ruined any yet. I might have, but they were mine. I wasn't going to cut any that were my mom's. So, she's been sewing. I've been helping out with the kind of construction. She did me this one with the jack-o'-lanterns. Isn't that the coolest fabric? It's like collagey, and then there's these candy corn on the inside. I love it. I've got the Great Pumpkin Conspiracy in there because there aren't jack-o'-lanterns, but there's a whole lot of pumpkins. And then she did this one that has like rulers and it has clocks on it, so I put my clock piece in it. Look at how good they are. So I'm so excited. So that's been a big part of our week, and just getting a bunch of those kind of up and going. And around. So that's what's been happening with us, plus Stitch Madness. A bunch of people had kind of questioned if Brandon was going to hop on and show some of his starts. He was starting, we had kitted up about 22 projects for him. Keep in mind, Brandon's like, he knows how to stitch and he's a beautiful stitcher, but he is not as, what's the right word? He is not as committed to this craft, I would say, as I am. So he doesn't have the attention span. He gets a little distracted by other things. So he will get him there. I have no doubt. But right now, you know, he will stitch for a little bit and then I'll put it down. So he would like, he kitted up about 22 pieces and they're all on different fandoms. So my hand's showing her tail or something. So he has all of these different starts that he's been doing. He did a Mario one on Mario Day. That's why I chose my Game Boy mug, because Mario Day was his past week. He's been doing Zelda. He was doing Van Gogh, Doctor Who, different things like that. So we got him, he's doing the Doctor Who pillow by Cloud Factory, I think, and we got him some like specialty floss to try for that. So he's learning some different techniques and learning like what materials he likes to stitch with and where his comfort zone kind of is with everything. So I think what he's going to do is he's going to join in at the end of the month and give a recap of everything that he started. But he was like, it's like I've only stitched a little bit on each day, and like, it's okay, you do other things. It doesn't have to be all encompassing for you just because it is for me. He is actually right now working on, I got him some green fabric and we've kind of made a makeshift green screen in our office so that he can maybe start to stream, like he does video game stuff and is on Twitch, for those of you that know that stuff. So he's going to start looking into streaming like stitching videos, like Stitch With Me stuff. So he might be doing that on Twitch. I think that's how he's going to try to join in with us for 24 hours as well. So that's what he's been doing, and perfecting the all-encompassing editing skills because he indulges my hobbies. Yeah. Stitch Madness. I started more projects. Started some really big projects. Some ones that I was really excited to start. But then, like, okay, my whip wall is totally full again. And that's not even all of them because I have to add a third string. So I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed by this. And my mind is going about what I'm going to do next month to try to finish some of these things. Because we already know I'm starting another one for 24 hours. So that's another one on top of this. So I think I've never been real good with rotations. But I'm going to try it again, and I'm going to give it a month, and I'm going to see how I do. I have seen tons of people using the Tiny Decisions app, and I'm kind of intrigued by it, and I might actually be doing that during 24 hours. I haven't decided yet. I've broken my projects that I think I'll work on into, like, easy, or what level of easiness I think they are, so that maybe at hour 20 I'm not going to be working on something that has 40 count, or like that it wouldn't be able to spin something that has that. And I've narrowed down my whips that I don't think I'm going to pull out like my big ass projects because they just take so much more concentration trying to like hold the fabric. When the fabric is like as long as the couch, like it's just hard to keep it all straight. So I don't want to get into a point where I'm rushing too much because I only have 45 minutes and I want to actually show that I've progressed in those 45 minutes, that I make mistakes. Does that make sense? So what I think I'm going to do for April is, I was going to talk about this last time, but I talked and talked and talked forever. I've divided all of my whips into 4 categories. And I'm going to, the first week in April, I'm going to work on just things that I have as stitch alongs. So I'm going to focus probably on Goat Load and Matter's Choice. Try to get some progress done on those two. I think if I start with Goat Load, I can get that one done. And then spend I don't think that should take me more than a day or two to finish. So, if I start that once Madness is done and kind of work on those, the 4 days I have before 24 hours, and then also put them into my 24 hours if they're not finished, that's my plan for the first week in April. Then I've divided all my whips into 4 categories. And so I'm going to be doing one that has my Stitch 9 challenge pieces on it, because the thing with doing Tiny Decisions is I've already committed to trying to finish these 9 specific pieces. And having as many whips as I have right now, if I just am going to try Tiny Decisions, it could mean that they don't come up. For those of you that don't know what Tiny Decisions is, I was going to show you what it looked like on screen, but it didn't work. So if you're on Instagram, it's basically a wheel that you enter into all of your whips that you're working on, and then you spin it and it tells you which one to work on. So it kind of takes that random, it is random, but it isn't just you pulling a project out. It's dictating what you're going to work on. So I've divided in doing Stitch 9 one week. Then I entered all of my projects that I still have going from Stitch Madness 2018 as another week. And then Stitch Madness 2019 is another week, so that's 3 weeks. And then the last week, or whatever order I decide to do these in, is just all of my other whips that I have. So it would be ones that don't fall into those categories, like His Eyes on the Sparrow, or I don't know. I could look at the category and tell you. The ones I didn't finish from my first 24 hours would go in there as well. And I guess the one, because I'm not starting new things for 24 hours. So like the Kathy Barrick piece that I'm going to start for 24 hours will go into the other whips, because it doesn't fit for the other 3 categories. So that's what I'm going to do for April, and I'm going to try it. I don't know if I'll like it. I might feel too locked in. But, I've kept my plan, and it's not like I woke up every morning in March and was like, which one of my projects do I want to stitch on today? No, I had a reason, It was, mayhem? She scratched me earlier. I thought she put a hole in my shirt. It's just what I had down because it fit on my calendar that day. So, I'm going to try it. I'm not going to lock myself into it, though, because, again, the thing I found, I tried 365 days of cross-stitch last year, and the thing I found was that it felt like a chore. I don't want to make cross-stitch like that again, so I'm not. So if things are not working for me, I'm changing them up. I'm not going to be like, I have to commit to this because I said it on FlossTube. Sorry. Other happy news this week. I got a little package from Jenny Long Dog Stitcher, and you'll see what she gave me as I'm showing. She sent graciously some of her extra Donneray clips to show the pieces, and I have some of my pieces up with them. So thank you so much. She also sent over an extra skein of DMC 920 because she had it left over. So I'm going to integrate this into one of my projects. I think actually one that's in my pile. So you're here to see cross stitch, and I've rambled long enough, even though I didn't even think I had anything to talk about. I'm going to take one more sip of my coffee. And I'm going to show you what I've been stitching this week. So, the week started on the 10th with daylight savings time. And I decided that Sally Spencer was a great way to celebrate daylight savings time. Sooner begun, sooner done, because on daylight savings time, everything's a little bit sooner. Although I really get the whole spring forward, spring fall back, spring ahead. That doesn't make any sense in my head, and my mom doesn't understand why it doesn't. She's like, Jen, but fall back, does that mean that I get more sleep or I lose sleep? Because you're going backwards, so is it? Anyway, everything was sooner on this day, so I started Sally Spencer. And now I don't have a space to put anything. I am stitching. It's held up with one of my new clips. I am stitching this on a 40 count, Picture This Plus Legacy, and I'm using the called for threads except for, oh, I didn't pull the threads out. I switched out the white. It calls for buttermilk, and I knew you wouldn't be able to see it on this thread, on this fabric, so I had a silk. I don't know if it was, I think it was NPS, I think. It was just a random silk I had. I think it's just like natural. And it really still doesn't help me know which way is which. It really does pop pretty good. You can see, I don't even know which hand is which. It's over there. There's just like 2 strands with it. I'm really liking this. I'm excited to get back to it. Sally Spencer. Then on August, why am I on August? My head is gone, guys. On March 11th, it's napping day, National Napping Day, because you're tired after Daylight Savings Day. Daylight Savings Day. Whatever it is. So I felt like an appropriate start was Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain, because I've had this for about 1,000 years. And I love it, and I've never started it. So, like I said, when I plan my madness, I pick projects by different designers. So when I go to my designers that I love, like Kathy Barrick, like Plum Street, the designers that I have about 60, of their patterns in my stash, I try to pick one that I've been like really, really wanting to stitch on. So it seems to me that it seems like a waste to pick a little one. Like I really want to stitch that Good Intentions by Kathy Barrick that Amy on Instagram, I will link your name below, because that finish that you did on that, holy cow, unbelievable. Blown away. All your finishes this week were amazing. But I don't feel like it's that big enough project for me to start for madness. Maybe next year I'll tone it down, because these are projects that are going to be in my whip basket for 1,000 years. Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. I love this pattern, and I think I will love stitching it. The problem that I had is this piece of fabric is massive. So I'm stitching on a piece of 35 count Mink by R&R. And it's fabric I love as well. I stitched Quaker Christmas 2. I stitched that on this, and I loved it. I stitched that with 1 strand. It's a 35 count. I really like the coverage I got on it. But this, I felt like I really wanted it to pop. Like I wanted to really be able to see the autumn tones on the fabric. So I decided I should do it with 2 strands, which is not my comfort zone. I am doing it with DMC. I would not be doing 2 strands if I was doing this with MPS. Why do I want to call it MPI? I don't know. So this is my start. I really am happy with the coverage. I'm really happy with everything. I was just really struggling to get it into a place that it was workable on my lap in my stitching spot. Because of my little lamp contraption and the pattern holder and everything, it felt very claustrophobic. And I couldn't, because this piece is so long, I couldn't get my other hand under it because I don't use a Q-snap, so I'm stitching in hand. So I used some quilting, not pins, clips, Wonder clips, to try to I made it smaller and just clipped it. That seemed to be working. The problem is then it changes the weighting of it, and it kind of affects my tension. I'm not going to let that stop me from working on this piece, though. So I will be back, and that will be a piece that I'm going to make myself figure out how I can fall in love with it. If it means finding a new stitching spot when I'm working on it, whatever it means, that's going to happen. So that was start 11. That's massive. I don't have the stitch count in front of me, but it's it's a biggie. And then on March 12th, it was Plant a Flower Day. And I thought, you know what? I'm going big. I might as well just continue to go big. Hold with me 1 second. I need to get the pattern. Okay, I'm back. This one I saw online and I fell in love with it. I knew nothing about it. And I saw it online, the picture online. Serenity Harbor Sampler by the Bay Needleworks. I didn't know when I saw it online and I fell in love with it that it was released in 12 segments throughout the year. It was designed to be a stitch along. Which, if you're doing it during the year and you're paying the monthly thing in each month getting a new pattern, that's not so bad because there's 12 of them and you're paying whatever the rate is. Well, but I didn't see it until all 12 months go by when I met one of our shops up here. It was Claire's Stitching Post in Vermilion. And so I saw it there and I was like, oh, but I really like this. And she had all the pieces, because it comes in 12 individual things. So I saw it the one time and I was like, no, I can't do that. They're like $9 a piece. This is insane. If you're doing it as a stitch along and you're paying $9 a month, that's no big deal. But to pay it all as a lump sum is a different thing. Well, I was there right after the stitch along for last year came out. I don't remember what that one's called. But it goes the other way. So this one goes long and that one goes horizontal. And I love that one too. And so I was like, well, I could just do the stitch along for that one and then, But I really liked Serenity Harbor. I just, and it's not my go-to colors at all. Like, it is not, I don't know what it is that draws me to this. But it was kind of like this, I can see it in my house in spring. And for those of you that know me, I just struggle with spring. So, honestly though, if I ever finish this, it's going to be up in my house all year long because it's beautiful and I love it. So, Plant a Flower Day. Can't keep flowers alive in my house. So, I thought I should stitch some. So, it's another massive piece. I didn't use the clips on these because they're so big. But I planted a couple flowers. Got a start on it. I think my piece of fabric is going to be long enough. Ooh, very blurry. I think it's going to be long enough. However, the designer did give a free second ending, I guess, option because dimensions were off for some fabric that she suggested or something. So she has one of these, the bottom charted also without the vase. And so it shortens it a little bit in case you can't fit it on your fabric. So I was like, well, I've measured about 10 times. I think I'm good. But if I'm not, I can always change how I end it if I ever get there. Stitching that on 40 count lambswool. Not always my favorite piece kind of linen to work on, but being that it's pretty full coverage, I figured it would work. I am using DMC because I am not made of money and cannot afford to buy silks for things that I do not think No, I think I'm going to finish these. I do. For things that are going to take me the rest of my life to finish. Maybe that's a better way to put it. March 13th, Dark 13 stitching. I didn't look for a holiday because I wanted a Dark 13. I was stitching Bump in the Night by Prairie Schooler. They always call for their stuff to be on Lambswool too, but I went dark with this one. And I'm stitching this on 32 count Dark Cobblestone. Dark Cobblestone? I don't know who the dyer is. I think it was a piece of scrap. I used it for Season of Love during my 24 hours. I really like it on this fabric. I wasn't loving it until I added the orange in. And then I feel like it just kind of all tied it in. It's a lot of 3371 though, and since I'm double strand using 2 strands, I'm gonna need to find some more and hope it's the same dye lot. Because I didn't think about that when I started. So that was Dark 13 stitching. The 14th, March 14th, 3/14 Pi Day. I decided I was gonna start Jenny Bean's Friendship Sampler because friends and pie just go together. I was a little sad I couldn't eat any pie because I'm not eating sugar, but you know, whatever. Almost cheated and had some pizza, but I didn't. I had a burger instead. But I love this piece, and having finished, this was one of the reasons why I tried to finish Jenny Bean's Halloween before I started. I don't like to have 2 of the same series going at the same time. Sometimes it doesn't work out that I've got them all finished before I am itching to start the next one, but I figured I was going to try. This one had a little trouble. So I get all set. I had a piece of fabric. I wanted to do it on 36 count. And so I had this piece of fabric, toasted almond, it said 36 count. I was ready to go. So I started stitching it. I've got a big piece, and I decided not to cut the piece before I did it because it wasn't that much bigger than what it called for. And I'm stitching, and 36 count, I use 1 strand of fabric or thread. And so I'm stitching this, and I'm like, I don't like the coverage. This is sad. And so I count. You know, I do the little trick where you count. I get the number, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. It's 30. This is 36 count. So I keep going. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe it's just because I'm looking through a magnifier, because it's different when you stitch and you look through the magnifier, everything looks bigger because that's what a magnifier does. But it changes how my stitching looks, so I kept taking it out from under and being like, and I was like, no, this isn't right. So I went down to my stash and I'm like, I've got to have a piece of 40 count. I'm just gonna do this on 40 because I don't like it. I don't like 36 count with 1 thread. When did this happen to me? When did 36 is my favorite count of linen. I don't have any. Had nothing else. Except I had this piece of Mello, I don't know, something by Picture This Plus. Kind of a yellowy. And it was like really long and skinny. And so I'm thinking, okay, it's 36 count. I'm going to try it again. Maybe this toasted almond is just not the right, you know, maybe it's like Weeks Dye Works where it's sometimes a little looser and it's just not giving me the right thing. So I'm going to start it over. So I started over and I do my first line and I count it out. And I stitch 20 across, and so I count out. I get my little measurement, count out 18. 36 count, I'm good. And I'm thinking, I'm like, how come when I did this last time and I counted it on the toasted almond, I only got 16? Because 36 count, you have to get 18. And I had a moment with math that just ruined me for the day. So, needless to say, the toasted almond was not 36 count. It was 32 count the entire time, and I just forgot that 16 stitches in an inch means 32 and not 36. Because I forgot basic math. I know how to do basic math. Just timesing it by 2. So, I restarted it on the Mello, whatever it is. And I like it much better because it's the coverage I should be getting on 36 count. I don't have a clip for this one. So I didn't get as far as, I was very red just then. I didn't get as far as I wanted to on this one because a lot of my time was spent doing math, which is sad because I don't really like math. But I really like this. There's a lot of houses. I like stitching houses. I wanted to get to more of the red of this one. The one thing I will say, and I think it's just because it's an older chart. I think my chart was published in 2010. The symbols that are on here, they're the same, like the T for the tomato is a T. The symbol on the chart is also a T, but it's a different T. And so I'm looking at it, and when I saw it on the chart, I was like, oh, that's not the same T, so it must be the arrow, because there's an arrow over here. And I had a lot of trouble matching up what was what, because the font here is different than the font used in the symbols. read it carefully. Because I was like, it can't be, because I pulled a piece of maple syrup to do this house. And I'm like, the house is red. How am I going to be using maple syrup? It's not. It shouldn't be that color. So I had to like really stop and like look at the chart. So just be careful. Again, I think it's just because it's an old chart. Love Shakespeare's Peddler. And I'm loving that now that I figured out math. The 15th was Wear Blue Day. I didn't wear blue. I don't really wear blue. I can't think of a single blue thing I own. So I decided to stitch blue again. And I started Winter Cometh by Summerhouse Stitchworks. It's only 3 colors, and I've never stitched anything in panels like this. So it's the 3 colors. It's a navy. It's like a 610, I think, and 926. So it's like a gray, green, kind of blue in the middle. And so got started on this. It's called to be stitched on 40 count, and I decided it's really tiny. It's only like 118 by 88. I decided to do it on bigger count. So I'm doing this on a 30 count. I think it's a London Mist. Oh, and the reason I picked this for, yes, Wear Blue Day. I already said that. I had a momentary lapse because I was going to jump ahead to the holiday for today because it kind of worked because of the Quakers. I'm liking this a lot. Again, I don't think I pulled enough fabric because I'm using 2 strands, and I could. Okay, guys, I can't do the mirror thing. Not have enough spatial awareness of my body. I didn't finish down here because I didn't want to start a new strand of blue until I had somewhere else to carry it over to. Like seriously, I went that way. Today's start, and I'm not done stitching for today because it's early evening, so I can still get some more stitching done. I wanted to stitch before we went to the vet in case we came home and didn't have a cat anymore, and I was depressed. So I got up real early and put a few stitches in so I wouldn't miss my stitching. Figured stitching would be therapy tomorrow if that were the case. I started Quaker Diamond by Hillside Sampling. Had this one for a really long time. I think it's an older chart. I don't know if it has. 2001. So it's been around for a while. And I've had it for a long time. Where did I get it? Stitches That Count. It was a store in Delaware. I don't even know. I think it was in their clearance bin. So I picked it up, and today is a quilt day or National Quilt Day or something. So I thought that the Quakerness of the diamond, and it just reminded me of a quilting square. So I was like, sure, that's a tie-in. Have had this pattern for a really long time, and I never knew that the outside is stitched 1/2, and the inside is stitched 1/1. So when I realized that, I was already excited about stitching it. So there's going to be, the alphabet is all 1/1. So I was going to go big with the count, but I really wanted it stitched little, and they stitched it on 35 count. So I figure, let's practice 1/1. So I am doing this on a piece of 36 count Pear by Lakeside Linen. It's the same. I kind of screwed up the placement, but I'll have enough space. And I don't know if this one will be framed or if I'll try to, I don't know what I'll do with it. Maybe flat. I don't know what I'll do with it. I'm going to be a little tight. I'll only have like an inch down here because I left too much up here. I was scared about Pandy. I wasn't, and we've already established that my math skills are not quite there this week. So I'm starting this just using DMC. It calls for half the pad. It calls for 422 or a honeysuckle yellow for like in here. I can't even tell that it's in there in this pattern, but I think, thanks to Long Dog Stitcher, I think I'm going to use the 920 and tie it in that way. And then I'll remember this thread from her. So that's what I'm going to use as my contrast color in this, which I think I might have used when I did my Prairie Moon. The red and the black might have been 920. And then also I may use 920 when I do the red and the black too, because I'm doing that on this same fabric. And depending on how I like it, maybe that'll be my contrast color for that, because I haven't decided yet. That's what I've been stitching this week. Last week, I wanted to show you a finished piece that you've never seen before, and I forgot and didn't because I kept talking for too long. And then this week, I want to show you one, but it's in the other room. So I'm gonna go get it, and you're gonna not even realize I'm gone. I mean, you'll realize I'm gone because I'm telling you I'm gonna be gone, but Brandon will edit out the part where I am actually not here. So, be right back. I always forget that I have to like give Brandon a moment when I get back before I start talking for him to like piece the two segments together. So hopefully that was enough time. I always forget what I have already showed of my finished pieces on here. So I do think I'm going to have to go back and watch them and like make a list because I just don't remember. And then that one time that we finished all of the thousands of things all at once and we did the whole finishing parade, I don't remember what was involved in that and what was included. So, last time was my 13th floss tube, so I was going to show a dark 13 finish. This time it's my 14th floss tube, but this was the one that I was going to show last time, so I'm showing it on this one. This is Halloween Hornbook by Plum Street Samplers. I love this. It was one of my first pieces that I stitched back when I started stitching again. I think, if I remember correctly, I didn't pull the pattern, but I'm pretty sure that pumpkin I stitched wrong. It was like supposed to be like double stripes or something, but I love him. I think he's okay. And so this would have been an early linen piece for me. Back when I first started stitching, I pretty much only used natural linen and regular DMC. So, as so many people, it's so funny to watch like people's early floss tubes and they're like, I only stitch with DMC and I only stitch on Ada, and then they're 30 floss tubes in and they're using all the specialty stuff. That's me too, but this was a lot of fun to stitch and I love this frame. I don't know if we ordered it. It has my mom's name written on the back, so I don't know if we ordered it or what, but typically what we would do is we would order frames from like our local LNS. This is probably Strawberry Sampler in Delaware, near Pennsylvania border. But we would order the frame and then my mom would finish it for me. So that was one of my early finishes that I wanted to show you. Next week, more Stitch Madness. Have some fun ones planned. Some good holidays. Still planning for 24. Getting those wheels turning. I think I might do like a short just what 24 hours is video this next week, like in the week, and just get that up so that if people are new and haven't been watching, they don't have to watch a whole big thing to get kind of acclimated with what we're kind of shooting for. So those of you that have asked if you can spread, there was a graphic that I created that's out on Instagram. Feel free. Invite people to the group. The more people stitching, the better. Like, it's just a fun way for all of us to, even if we don't live near each other, to do something together. So there have been a lot of suggestions on like different apps and different things we can do to kind of make it more interactive. Still looking into that kind of stuff. More details will be posted about that. So yeah. Thank you guys for making this so much fun. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions. I can't thank you enough. Especially it still feels like we're still so new to this area and haven't developed our people here yet. So I've really been latching onto this because not having that in-person community, not really even knowing where to go to get that started, has left me a little like, what's happening with my world? So knowing that I have kind of a group and community has been really, really helpful during this time. So thank you for being that for me. I hope I can be that to you. Just slap me if I'm being flaky or whatever. And yeah, if it takes me a while, I'm sorry about my Gmail. I'm trying to get better about checking it and responding and things like that. So that's been my week. Hope your weeks have been well. Hope you're stitching and just finding joy in it. So if stitching isn't bringing you joy, find something else that is, please. And know that this community is still here for you even stitching isn't your thing. I will be back next week to show you more progress and talk more. I got my sewing machine back, so I have it fixed now, and he said it was actually a pretty decent machine. So that is my other goal this week, is I'm going to learn how to use it. So I'm going to learn to sew. I've learned to iron. Who would have thought that happened? So maybe I'll have some horrible FFOs to show you. Raid through my 24-hour stash that I have finished, that I won't necessarily be devastated if I ruin it when I try to make a pillow or something. So that's what's going on in my world. Never know how to end these, don't know how to start them. I do okay with the rambling in the middle, but keep stitching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.